Welcome to the Pirls Stock Market Commentary video, your weekly window on stock market technical conditions featuring the proprietary bull bear point and figure market breadth summary chart for July 29th, 2018. Market breadth. With this past week's market decline, our bull bear point and figure ratio at 1.07 rose slightly from 1.03 last week. The total count of securities in bullish or bearish patterns decreased 1% to 2,903. The count of bearish stocks decreased 3%, while the count of stocks in bullish patterns increased fractionally. The Pirls PNF market breadth summary chart shows us a market now 3 weeks in bullish territory. Paid subscribers have access to the OpenOffice Calc data from which the chart is generated. You may become a paid subscriber by visiting s2pmarketsignal.com, clicking Membership, clicking Register, and following the prompts. To receive the weekly Pirls Stock Market Commentary via email free of charge, simply enter your name and your email address in the spaces provided and click Subscribe. The well-known market breadth indicator, the Nasdaq McClellan Summation Index, fell 95 points for the fifth decline in 7 weeks. At a positive 205.79 points, it has fallen below the March 2018 and July 2017 tops, and continues below all 6 remaining tops above plus 100 in the last 30 months, and it continues above all 4 bottoms below minus 100 in the last 30 months. Volume analysis. In this week's volume analysis, the Nasdaq Composite Index ended in neither accumulation nor distribution mode, with average daily volume higher than the prior week. In the last 2 weeks, the Nasdaq had 1 accumulation day and 3 distribution days. Accumulation days are counted when the index closes up on higher volume than the prior market day, while distribution days occur when the index closes down on volume higher than the prior market day. Last week, the Nasdaq ended in neither accumulation nor distribution mode on lower average daily volume. Momentum. The CCI 20 daily, at a positive 16.99, fell from a positive 83.94 last week, continuing in a Woody's uptrend. The CCI 20 daily is now within the plus or minus 50 range for a zero-line reject long entry signal if the CCI 20 daily rises early next week. In Woody's CCI trading system, 6 consecutive bars above or below zero are required for a change of trend. The weekly CCI 20 of the Nasdaq Composite Index began a Woody's uptrend 117 weeks ago, while the daily CCI 20 began a Woody's uptrend 2 weeks ago. The CCI 20 weekly fell to a positive 102.45 from a positive 121.99 last week. Industry rotation the last 2 weeks. All of the top 5 industries are positive, and all of the bottom 5 are negative. Summary: oil and KBW Bank on top, gold and silver and some tech on the bottom. Bullish, gold and silver continues in the bottom 5. KBW Bank has entered the top 5. Bearish, computer hardware has entered the bottom 5. Comp Tech and S&P Retail have left the top 5. Oil and oil services have left the bottom 5. Oil has entered the top 5. Disk drives has re-entered the bottom 5. Brokers has left the top 5. Focus this week from the Swiss America section of www.corsination.com. The shape of things to come. Life after Google. The fall of big data and the rise of the blockchain economy. By David Bradshaw of Idea Factory Press, reviewing George Gilder's book. Again this week, this is not an article on market technicals, but rather an offering distilling profound economic and sociological insights concerning our near future. The following are some highlights from the review, which we recommend reading in full. We plan to read George Gilder's book itself. Today, Google is the world's premier information search tool, but along with its highly used free services, it has also opened a Pandora's box and a dangerous, unsecured computer world, according to technologist, philosopher, economist George Gilder. The result: your identity, your assets, and your future are at high risk from a system so fragile that virtually no individual or business is secure from cyber attacks. Thankfully, according to Gilder, the creation of a new system is already in the works, radically improved from the present Internet architecture. It will be as different as comparing two-dimensional life on paper with three-dimensional real life. Mr. Gilder also brings to light the political ideology and technical vision driving Silicon Valley as primarily neo-Marxist. George draws a comparison between today's tech revolution and the first industrial revolution, which Karl Marx viewed as the climatic industrial breakthrough that would solve the economic problem of scarcity by wealth redistribution. Quote, "The neo-Marxism of today's Silicon Valley titans repeats the error of the old Marxists in its belief that today's technology, not steam and electricity, but silicon microchips, artificial intelligence, machine learning, cloud computing, algorithmic biology, and robotics, is the definitive human achievement." End quotes. Gilder says the original Internet architecture sufficed when it was primarily used for displaying web pages, sending emails, or hosting discussion forums, when everything was free and did not serve as a vehicle for financial transactions. However, with the rise of Amazon, Apple, PayPal, etc., the industry sought safety in centralization. The problem is that, quote, "centralization is not safe, and it is time for a new information architecture for a globally distributed economy," end quotes, says Gilder. Gilder's sweeping understanding of the history of information systems identifies Sir Isaac Newton as the first inventor of information theory. Newton established both a Newtonian system of physics and an economic gold standard, which served as a mathematical and financial plumb line for centuries, facilitating the expansion of free commerce. Quote, "In the Google era, Newton's system of the world, one universe, one money, one God, is now in eclipse. His unitary foundation of irreversible physics and his irrefragable golden money have given way to infinite parallel universes and multiple paper monies manipulated by fiat," end quotes, explains Gilder. Quote, 300 years of Newtonian prosperity have come to an end," end quotes. Quote, "A system of the world necessarily combines science and commerce, religion and philosophy, economics and epistemology, theory of knowledge. Google is the first company in history to develop and carry out a system of the world. Yet I believe the Google system of the world will fail, indeed will be swept away in our time, and I am 78. It will fail because its every major premise will fail," end quote, says Gilder. Google's theory of knowledge, big data, assumes that the search for knowledge by human brains can be replaced if all of the data in the world can be compiled in one place and algorithms to analyze them can be developed. Quote, "Ultimately, the artificial intelligence priesthood maintains that the human mind will be surpassed in all ways. AI can know better than we do what will satisfy our longings," end quotes, states Gilder. This philosophy attempts to lay an axe to the root of human creativity, free will, and man's uniqueness, as created in God's image. Quote, such a vision is not only deterministic, but ultimately dictatorial. Google may talk a good game about privacy, but private data are the moral enemy of its system of the world, end quotes, warns Gilder. Quote, finally, Google proposes an economic standard, a theory of money and value, radically opposed to what Newton wrought by giving the world a reliable gold standard. Everything Google offers to its customers is free, if your business plan is to have access to the data of the entire world. Then free is an imperative, end quotes. Quote, so what's wrong with free, end quotes, asks Gilder. Quote, it is always a lie, because on this earth, nothing in the end is free. Instead of paying with the fungible precision of money, you pay in the slippery coin of information and distraction, end quotes. In Chapter 5, Mr. Gilder lays out 10 rules of the coming cryptocosm, which is now growing from the bottom up as a cooperative, the exact opposite of Google's hierarchical architecture. Quote, the first rule of the cryptocosm is the barn door law, security first. The second, centralization is safe, end quotes. The other rules include nothing is free, time is the final measure of cost, stable money endows humans with dignity and control, private keys are held by individual human beings, not by governments or Google. The world of blockchain, Blockstack, Bitcoin, and other cryptocurrencies is pretty hazy for most consumers and investors. But Gilder does a good job of bringing clarity about what Bitcoin is and what it is not. As it turns out, Bitcoin has several qualities similar to gold, such as scarcity and store of value, but it fails as a fungible currency based on lacking a unit of account. Bitcoin's real or mythical creator, Satoshi Nakamoto, quote, had no understanding of currency as a unit of account. By limiting Bitcoin's supply to 21 million units over a 131-year period, Satoshi designed Bitcoin as a deflationary currency. Bitcoin is used more as a volatile investment bet than a measuring stick or unit of account, end quotes, concludes Gilder. Gilder sums Bitcoin up. Quote, this Bitcoin flaw represents a huge opportunity for other cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin cannot fulfill its basic role as a currency. Its historical fate is to provide a haven from maniacal governments and central banks, and a harbor for a great innovation, the blockchain, end quote. As Gilder put it in another book of his, which I reviewed a few years ago, The 21st Century Case for Gold, quote, the source of value of money is time, irreversible, inexorably scarce, impossible to hoard or steal, distributed with remorseless equality to rich and poor alike. As an index of time, gold imparts the accurate price signals needed for sustained economic growth and expanded opportunity, end quotes. Quote, time is the coin of your life. It is the only coin you have, and only you can determine how it will be spent. Be careful lest you let other people spend it for you, end quotes, said the great American poet Carl Sandburg. Gilder concludes, quote, a new system of the world must exalt the singularities of creation, mind over matter, human consciousness over mechanism, real intelligence over mere algorithmic search, purposeful learning over mindless evolution, and truth over chance. A new system can open a heroic age of human accomplishment. Propelling such advances will be a shift of focus from the fruits of computation to its roots in trust and security." End quotes. Because the future belongs to those prepared for it, now is the time to listen carefully to trustworthy prophetic voices which resonate deeply within. This requires allowing God's Spirit permission to rewire our brain, much in the way the Internet today needs a rewiring to reach its highest ultimate purpose. I cannot recommend this book highly enough if you want to drill down further into the new architects of this revolutionary new blockchain economy. Thank you for watching this week's Sand to Pirls Stock Market Commentary video featuring the proprietary bull-bear point and figure market breadth summary chart compiled by Donald Pearl, www.s2pmarketsignal.com. For Sand to Pirls Stock Market Commentary, I'm Cynthia Pearl, hoping that you are enjoying a peaceful and pleasant weekend, that you are looking forward to a prosperous and productive week coming up, and wishing you true success.